Samir, stage is yours.
Thank you. So, hello everybody. So, three, two, one, go. Where it went? Come here. So, DSLs in Ruby, one of my favorite topics. And that might be the second reason why I love Ruby so much. Let's cook up an application today. Something very simple. It looks like a web page. Nothing fancy. But if I ask you to do the very same web page, this might be the most obvious answer, right? Ruby on Rails. It'd be my obvious answer as well. But if such a conundrum strikes, we get rid of Rails. And for that matter, let it be anything, Sinatra, Hanami, ERB, Hamel, Jekyll, anything that you know about. And we want it to do just on itself. So a quick question, anybody can tell me how that simple web page can be done on this very new stack that we just invented, Ruby on itself? Any show of hands? Come on. Okay, so this can be done by a pinch of DSL. Just a little bit of DSL you throw on Ruby and it can handle that work. And so rude of me, I've not introduced myself. I'm Samir, and I'm a senior technical consultant at Rails Factory. And in this consulting job, my work is language agnostic. It's good at times, more adventures, but you can't stay consistent with a language. And whenever I see a Ruby project, that brings this kind of smile on my face, because Ruby had that amazing DX. What I mean is, the very same thing I was telling. I love Ruby because of its flexibility. An outsider can call that Ruby magic, the typical Ruby magic. But experts like you, they very well know that Ruby is all about flexibility. The syntax is so flexible. Okay, chopped off. But good, we have some content here. You see, in JavaScript, I was writing a class. This little add method, what we have, was supposed to add 2 money classes. And the way I was doing, which is a little bit clipped now, but I'll recite for you, m1.add m2 to string. Very simple syntax, nothing fancy. But doing that thing in Ruby will take just m1 plus m2. That's all. That's how it works in domain of mathematician. You have 2 monies, you can add them, you use plus. And Ruby allowed me to use this plus, def plus, which other languages don't allow me to. So this is the part of flexibility, what I'm saying about. DSL will take this entire game to a different new level. We just extended our Ruby's domain by adding that plus symbol on that money class, and it allowed us to do arithmetics on currencies. But DSL can let you create your own language, custom tailored for your domain. Maybe you're in some scientific domain, you're in some accounting, you are in web development, where you want only terminologies related to that particular domain to shine on you. Okay? So, another question, if it may, what makes a Ruby syntax be called as DSL? Anybody? None yet? So answer is rather simple. You see this is normal Ruby, nothing new about it. Let's say that we wanted to create that HTML page, right? This is custom tailored for that. You create a page, you add a heading, you add a paragraph, and things go on. But in that DSL world, we want to have a page, it should have a heading, it should have a paragraph. Now that brings everything in domain of web development. Here we are looking a lot much in programming world, less in typical web development. Somebody who is not even a Rubyist can see that code and say, it looks like a web page. It looks like HTML. So we'll go through some core concepts, just a refresher, okay? And then we'll get to build that web page, that Hall of Fame. So this config, you see this is again chopped off, but it gives you the idea. You have seen that multiple times in Rails and other even Ruby projects. You take something like that and do a configuration. This block is able to access the option method defined on that config class up top. And this is made possible by using instance eval. In the second line there, in setup, you see that instance eval is going to take that block and run it as if it was some code written inside that config itself. And the output, as expected, it gives you a configuration object. So this configuration object builder taught us a couple of things. First of it is instance eval is a scope to a instance. Name says that well. So what happens is whenever you run a block, it will run in the context of the receiver. And this receiver can share its data, its methods, its variables to that block. And receiver, most importantly, can run that block whenever it wants, whenever it needs to. This is important. It holds like 51% at stake in Ruby's whole magic business. Like whenever you think about the magical parts about Ruby, somewhere method missing will come in play. So to tease this, or rather say educate us, we have Casper. So Casper is a friendly ghost. You must remember this from your early childhood cartoons, Casper, the friendly ghost. So this Casper says hi, and Casper is a very versatile ghost as well. So you see there, Casper has ability to scare anyone. And there are a couple of methods. Casper can scare in a castle, he can scare in a forest. Casper even has audacity to scare at Ruby conference as well. But it's Casper. Casper is a friendly ghost. It's like a peekaboo kind of scaring, not the serious scaring. So what brings this versatility? It's again used truly method missing. And in this whole world of ghostly business, it's very important to understand what your little ghost can do and what it cannot. You can't ask your ghost to go and take an interview for you, but it can do a few things. And this respond to missing is telling us exactly that. That if a method starts with a scare, a ghost can handle it in ghostly ways, and that is defined here in method missing. If such a case happens, just puts this and that will be handled. The call will be handled. But, okay, let's take a break. Casper has helped us learn such a complex topic. If we bring Casper on the stage, we request him, hey, come on, Casper, speak with us, or maybe give us a talk, maybe a flash talk. Something else hits. It hasn't seen anywhere like what is speak in this entire definition of ghost class. What happens is you get the infamous no method error because our good Casper was never taught how to speak at Ruby conference or speak anywhere. Casper is cute. He's still shying away there, but there's a bit of problem with Casper. And this is the entire context about method missing. Method missing is the last step before you get this no method error. And this handles call dynamically, not dynamically as in defining methods dynamically, but it handles call dynamically. So you get the call, it decides like, should I hit them in face with this no method error or some graceful handle? Okay, enough talk. So let's build what we saw there, that HTML thing. So for revision, this was the speaker list we had. And this is our DSL. So this is the first glimpse at it. So you see this links roughly to a HTML structure. You have a tag, you have a bunch of attributes, and then you have nesting. All the things that you need to do in a regular HTML file. Okay? And our application, small application, is going to be very lean and thin. I have some data here, a couple of pages, a little bit of styles, and a utility to build that HTML first place. Okay? For our sanity, we have defined all these tags that are present in a standard HTML. Not necessary, but yeah, good practice. Some hard-coded data for those speakers can be an API, doesn't matter. And a little bit of CSS or sprinkle like a salt. Also, I like doing this kind of CSS to avoid clan war between CSS purists and Tailwind purists. So maybe I will start a war right now from both sides, why you have written like this. Okay, and this is our index.html page, gonna become our index.html page. This is a simple Ruby file. You can see that it is having the same structure as a HTML file. You have a HTML tag. Inside that, you have a head, body, couple of elements there. Only new thing that you are seeing here is I have something called html.export at top. Okay, so let's go into that. And this is how it looks. Yeah, HTML. HTML method has two things right now. One is building that HTML string. You can return it to an API if you care to make such a website. For our example, we are keeping it very simple. Whatever the exported HTML is, we are going to just take it and save it to a file. We have talked a lot about building. This building is not something magical, not even Ruby's magic or even flexibility is involved. It's just simple recursion. Think it of like method, like you see body there, right? Body has some properties. You have a class and a block is passed. That block is containing that h1. h1 is again having some content, some attributes. And it goes recursively build it. Like when it's building HTML, it will see that what is my content, what is going to be inside that, it will build it, body. When it's building body, it will see like what body contains. Body contains h1, so it will go ahead and build that h1. Okay, this is a little bit about that builder. Very simple. You initialize with a blank array where you store your tags, stringify it to print it in a file or send to an API, and some sanity with a valid tag, like is this tag valid or not? And respond to will just check the very same thing. If it is valid, go ahead, define the call, otherwise no method error. And this is the part, here the crux starts, your method missing. When we come here, first of all, make sure that we are not including invalid tags. So we are checking like if it is a valid tag, then go ahead and build the tag, otherwise hit and face with that no method error. And here is the magic bit. We have seen before, like if you have a h1, you're giving some content and then the class. So that's what we are capturing here. The first part is the content, and remaining everything, be it class colon this is this, ID colon that, href is this. So all of that will be packed together in this attribute string. It's a simple equal to thing. And this opening tag is constructed. Like you have something very simple like a p tag without anything. It's as simple as that, tag name. But if you have some attributes passed there, it will be included there in the opening tag. Moving next, here is that recursion part. Doesn't look like recursion, a traditional recursion. But for our output, we are taking that first part, the opening tag. We have the closing tag. Closing tag doesn't need any fancy thing. It doesn't matter how complex the opening tag is there. Closing tag will always be slash in the name. But between that, we have this instance evaluation going on. And that will take like when I'm building body, okay, I've got my body tag ready. I have got my closing tag ready. look for the block that body is provided with and convert that into HTML. And that's what this instance evaluation is going to do. And in case there is no block passed, that we are handling in the else case here. And with that, we get our very first page. DSL is love. I see people are getting blinded. Come back. And this is where we did that speaker list. It's nothing fancy, right? If you look at it, we have a body, we are going through some speakers and creating a div for everyone with that speaker class. Moving next. We have it running, but do you see some problem? If you remember what we intended to build and what we have built accidentally, it's just an image grid. There is no content here, no text, nothing. Our code looks fine. We have a proper image tag, a div to contain text overlay. I personally verified the CSS is working, but those paragraph tags are not showing. This is some serious issue. I need help here. Anybody? Yes, Chaitali, please. Okay, when I said that DSL is my second favorite reason for Ruby, having a method called P is my first reason. I don't want to go and do something like one of my trauma days, system.out.println. I like doing something simple like P hello world. That's how I sell Ruby to people. Okay, hey, Ruby is very easy to begin. You P and hello world, you got that. You don't need to build a class and then that usual. So my first favorite has become the enemy of my second favorite, and this has caused the problem. Unfortunately, we'll have to surgically remove P tag, P method in favor of P tag. This decision is more or less on the lines that it's a DSL. DSL means it is treated for a domain. When you have such a choice to make, such a tough choice to make, P method or P tag makes more sense because that is important in HTML's domain. And then, yeah, we get everything back. It just works. Even slightly better solution, a general purpose solution will be using a basic object where you don't even have puts or P. It's very, very low key. Okay. With that, you don't get P, you don't get puts, you don't get anything. In just case you need a puts for, let's say, logging, you'll have to do something like kernel.puts. And that will be like the exact reference from where you can use that if you need. But this will make sure that Ruby doesn't interfere with the custom language that you're writing. Same result, works fine, both cases. So I think this little demo was good enough to highlight a couple of things here. One is stay clear of Ruby's native features, otherwise it will bite us back. And second is when to use a DSL. When your domain complexity is very high, like anytime a user is building a tag, you don't want him to go through all those classes and instance evaluation and whatnot I was doing there. It makes more sense that somebody can come in and they can write something like this. Anybody can read that. Like you need to train like what, 10 minutes for a content writer to start using your language for writing like custom email templates. Things can work like that. And I think that should be enough to highlight the importance and magic/flexibility of Ruby with lens of DSL. So this is, okay, I have good parts here. Okay, so anyhow, if you want to connect later, this is my LinkedIn. Do follow me, connect me there. I'll drop in codes and slides for this demo there after the talk. Yeah, that should be enough.